to the Coach's Corner, and welcome to week number 8 of Gulfport High School Admiral football. Week number 8.
Week 8, man. It's flying by like crazy.
Man. Hey, we got a great show for you tonight. We have 2 special guests that we're going to bring on in later segments. One being our cheerleading coach, Coach Kaylee Brown. And in another segment later in the show, we're going to bring on the principal of Anniston Elementary, the first lady of Admiral football, Miss Brooke Pennant.
Here we go.
But we got a lot of stuff to talk to before we bring them out, one being our St. Martin game last Friday night in Milner Stadium, which was a big-time victory for the Admirals. A lot of good momentum. We're going to bring the head coach, Blake Pinnock, out now. Welcome back, Coach.
Well, appreciate it being back, Brad, man. It's getting nice to see you every week like this, dude.
Yeah, man. It was a great week last Friday, and it really capped off a 3-week momentum string of us, the Admirals, showing up and really dominating in all 3 phases of the game, offense, defense, and special teams. For those of you that are unaware, the Admirals are sitting at 2-0 in region play. We're sitting as good as you could be right now, and we had another dominating performance last Friday night, a 40-0 performance. The defense obviously was standing out and just showing what we were made of, but the offense was equally as impressive. Coach, another statement victory for the Admirals. We're on a roll. We're 2-0 in the region. Talk to the Admiral Nation and tell us what's making us tick.
Yeah, man, it was exciting. You know, it was a good thing. And going into the week of it, and you're talking about you're coming off a big emotional win right against Ocean Springs. The maturity of your team at that point is tested. And St. Martin's a good football team. They were 5-1 at the time. They're coming off an emotional win themselves versus Biloxi. You're doing a good job. They're getting used to winning. They're doing the right things, right? They have some things that you're tested. And so you're really testing the focus of our players and the preparation and how they go about doing things. And then the way they respond came out big time. All right, you know, we had a referee crew that wanted to be a part of the game a lot. And so early on, kind of got me a little frustrated, but our players handled it well. Our defense played excellent. We made some big plays in the passing game, opened up, finally got the monkey off our back and scored on our first possession for the first time this year with a huge pass by Parker Nettles to Cam Morgan with a play that we had drawn up. Our offensive coordinator had drawn this thing up and got it up. It popped open butt naked right there through the end of it, and made a guy miss and threw a touchdown, and then off to the races we went. And so, just defensively, really proud of just kind of the whole way we played in the dominating fashion, and did that once again another great game on special teams in the return game. Nearly had one return for a touchdown, but our punt returner, Cordarius Payton, sitting right over here next to me.
He's having fun.
Got himself knocked out at the 1-yard line, but allowed for Cooper Crosby to get another touchdown on the belt. It's a great teammate right there. But just a good performance, and that's what you want. You just want to keep stacking those days, and I wanted our team to feel better about ourselves after the game than we did before the game, right? And so I think we accomplished that mission.
Yeah, and a great performance would be an understatement. Offensively, defensively, and special teams, like we said, for 3 weeks now. We're on a good roll, great momentum. But here are some stats just to keep things in perspective. I think we had our best night offensively. You kind of felt like we could score on any play.
Right.
At any time. Mm-hmm. Defensively, obviously, we pitch a shutout, right?
Yeah.
40-0.
And I'll tell you this, a lone stat is for the majority of the game, St. Martin had negative yards of total offense. They hit a long reverse in late in the third quarter. They kind of got them a little positive roll, and they got some stuff at the end. But, yeah, for a large part of the game, they had negative yards offense.
Yeah. And I'm going to just keep on this theme of back-to-back-to-back weeks of domination. Yeah. What does that say about our maturity and focus as a team right now?
Well, it said, and we talked about it throughout the preseason, during the summer, and then kind of leading up into these non-region games, and it was lost on the close losses, right? But it's even to the coaching staff, it's the preach of what you want to be at the end of, or at the beginning of November, at the end of the regular season. You want to have said that you have gotten better each week as a football team. And so one thing we did do, and we talked about it ad nauseum, I think, is that, we had some young guys in some key spots and things, and just if we make a mistake, let's not make it the next week, right? And then if we make another mistake, don't make that one again the next week. And so as you start trying to plug some of those holes and fixing them, you start looking at it and it's like, all right, well, now we don't have as many holes to plug. And there's still some there. We still have to keep getting better. But you realize, man, we got a pretty good football team if we just do the basic really, really well.
Yeah.
You know, and that's really what's happening. Our guys are starting to learn, to get more experience. Some of the lights aren't as bright anymore, and so you're getting our guys in there getting comfortable in the system and what it is we're doing, moving faster. And so I think that's kind of all the culmination of some of the way we played the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, and it's blatantly obvious. It's just the adjustments and the overall chemistry of the team. And speaking of chemistry, so take the Admiral Nation real quick into halftime locker room. We're in week 8 now.
Yep.
How has the complexion of the leadership changed inside that locker room, coming from your seniors, juniors, even sophomores?
I think you have confidence, and that's one of the things you see. You see guys locked in because obviously for a minute I go in there and I say a few words to kind of set the tone for what's about to happen, give our coaches some chances to have some conversations on the side about what they just saw, what can we kind of do there, and then we break for a minute. Our guys get their Gatorade, they get their little snack bar or whatever it is, to kind of sit there and relax for a minute, and then we'll go as coaches to make sure that we have our adjustments ready to go for the second half and kind of the what to do's from that point. Then from there, we just go and we communicate, right? And so we make sure we give them a couple things. Don't want to drown them in information, right? They're only going to take a couple of things here and there, but get the overall plan, making sure that we're all on the same page. And then I'll close it out. And what you see there is eyes are locked in. They're laser focused, right? We don't have too many guys doing other things, getting whatever. And so when you have that ready to go and you have guys that are locked in and have guys that are motivated to go out and play a second half regardless of what the score is, I think at that point you realize, man, we got a team that's just maturing before our eyes.
Yeah, and certainly they are. They've been a lot of fun to watch all year, but most certainly this past 3 weeks. Again, Admiral Nation, your Admirals are sitting atop Region 4 at 2-0. We have West Harrison this week. But, hey, we're going to take a quick break and come back, and we will recap the St. Martin game offensively, defensively, and special teams. We got a lot of good stuff, a lot of special guests ahead of us. Like we said, Coach Kaylee Brown, our cheer coach, will be on a later segment. And we got the coach's wife, Coach Brooke Pennick. The principal, Brooke Pennick, will be on as well on a later segment. Y'all stay with us. We're coming live from Woody's. If you're driving by, come in. We got a great atmosphere, a lot of games on the television. A lot of Admiral fans in the house tonight. I see a lot of alumni out there, a lot of players. I think I saw the quarterback, Parker Nettles, out there as well.
He's wandering around somewhere, I'm sure.
That's right. Y'all stay with us, Admiral Nation. We'll be right back.
Tonight's Coach's Corner is being brought to you in part by Harborview Oral and Facial Surgery Center, located at 1301 25th Avenue, Suite 3, right here in Gulfport. Whether you need dental implants, bone grafting, wisdom teeth removal, cosmetic work, or several other procedures, Dr. Jason Rossetti and his staff have you covered. Their cutting-edge technology and personalized recovery plans help you heal right the first time so you can get back to smiling with confidence. Contact them at 228-867-0121. Their office hours are Monday through Thursday from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. and Fridays from 8 to 12:30 p.m. Thank you, Dr. Jason Rossetti and your staff, for supporting Gulfport High Admiral football. Hey, Admiral Nation. Your football team and coaching staff wants to take this opportunity to say thank you for all of the support and encouragement shown so far this year. The team's hard work is certainly paying off. The Admirals are sitting in first place in Region 4 and looking forward to the remaining opponents on the schedule. Admiral Nation, let's continue to show out for the Admiral football team. Let's make sure to have a lot of fun and make lots of noise at the remaining games. Don't forget the Admirals have only 2 home games remaining before the playoffs begin. And those 2 games involve big-time rivals in Biloxi and Harrison Central. We will host the Indians on October 24th and the Red Rebels on November 6th right here at Milner Stadium to close out the regular season. Admiral Nation, we need your continued support to finish the season strong and begin our playoff run. So, on behalf of the Admiral football team and coaching staff, thank you, Admiral Nation, and anchor down.
Welcome back to the Coach's Corner. And we are in our second segment here, and we are coming off of a huge win last Friday night at Milner Stadium, a 41-0 steamroll of the St. Martin Yellow Jackets. Again, that marks our third week where we've really just dominated the opponents in every aspect of the game. A lot of good stuff going on, Admiral Nation, with Gulfport football. Don't forget, tomorrow night we are in West Harrison, right? Just right down the road. Need your support, Admiral Nation. Let's show up. Our team is in first place in Region 4 competition at 2-0. All right, let's get to the game recap versus St. Martin. Coach, let's start with the offense.
Yeah. Man, good offensive explosion. I thought we were able to do some stuff. St. Martin did a good job of kind of trying to limit the run game a little bit, really did some things that kind of buggered up our double teams a little bit, so we couldn't really get Coop free a good bits. But the awesome part about it is Parker Nettles played probably, I think, his best game as an Admiral.
Completely agree.
Yeah, no doubt. I think it was in 17 to 26 for 288 and 3 touchdowns. Really did a great job extending some plays. Like I said, on the first touchdown, we had the play drawn up. It's wide open, but they end up shooting a gap, and we had a free rusher. He ducked him, 2 hands on the ball, were able to create a free release and get the ball out for a touchdown, and then did some really good stuff on some of our rollouts, extending plays, and did a good job decision-making. So really excited about him and seeing the comfort level of the way that he is continuing to play. Our receivers are doing a great job. They're getting open. They're catching the football. Well, I'm really excited still about our perimeter screen game, which has been one of the better things we've done all season. And then when we're able to run the football, boom, you're sitting there rocking and rolling. Early in the first half, we stalled out. We got inside the 10 a couple times, had to settle for some field goals, which that was a little frustrating. But we challenged them at halftime. We made those halftime adjustments, that maturity that I talked about, and then came out and immediately just boom, touchdown. And so that was a good thing. You know, when you kind of see them respond on that aspect, when things just wasn't clicking all the time. It wasn't a perfect game by any means, but to see those guys really coming out and playing like that and playing as a unit was a good step forward.
Yeah, and getting back to Parker, he looked so much more comfortable to me over the past just 3 weeks.
Yeah.
His poise, just his decision-making. But what I've been most impressed with is you've seen the elusive throw, kind of shifting in the pocket, but his off-platform throws.
Yes. Yeah, and that's a trait in good quarterbacks sometimes, and you call it arm talent. This the ability to be able just to kind of make a throw when there's something to be there, whether it's changing arm angles, whether it's not all the way, like I say, quarterback camp throws where you have to be in a perfect setting and all that. Because rarely in a game are you're going to have angles, you're going to have a lineman in your way, you're going to have a rusher you got to avoid, and timing and windows and getting it to the next one. Heck, you know that. I mean, Jacob was one of the best ones we've had in Gulfport in a long time, and so you get all that part of it, and being able to make those throws consistently is a trait that we're glad he has, and it's really taken us to the next level, obviously, with what we have in the run game as well.
That's right. So Parker Nettles, just some stats from Friday night: 17 for 26 for 288 yards and 3 touchdowns. Not a bad night.
Nope.
For the Admiral Signal
Not
Caller.
a bad day at the office. Is it? Yeah.
Not at all. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we've talked about all season about balance.
Yep.
The passing game continues to evolve while the run game remains steady. How close is this offense from peak form?
It's still got a little bit. I still got a little bit to go. I still want to see some versatility in our run game and, seeing being some other guys used as weapons like that. And I think you see Amaje Frederick kind of coming in and spelling Cooper a good bit, but we're also using him in a 2-back set. We're using Cordarius Payton some.
Yes.
You've seen us use Jayon Pollard some too as well in the run game on some speed sweep stuff. We got a lot of guys that can carry the rock, and so really seeing that aspect of it and what we're doing from a schematic standpoint, and then continuing to get our tight end more involved. We're kind of getting to him a little bit. We'd like to get it to him just a little bit more, obviously, and seeing we hit a couple of big plays in our passing game the other night for some touchdowns. I'd like to see us have a little better play action game going over the middle, as people are trying to stop the run. So those are things that we're still looking at as coaches and getting the players and kind of getting to that pitch, because it's not a finished product, but you're still just kind of with each week taking some information and what you need to do and how defenses are trying to defend us and that kind of thing, and using that to kind of better yourself with each
Sure.
week.
Sure. And again, look, it was a 40-0 game. I felt from my own personal standpoint that Coach Mooneyham kind of pumped the brakes a little bit. We just kind of had that feel in the game, not to rub it in or anything, but you just felt that we could score on any play that we wanted to score on.
Yeah, and there's a lot of things that go into some of that stuff. And when you feel like you have a game in control, after we did, I think, in the third quarter when we really separated, you want to see some stuff on film. You want to get some evaluation on certain plays or certain players in certain spots and different things, or get things ran like that. And so, it's not always – it's about scoring, obviously, but it's not just about that. We're kind of looking at this as a staff – it's kind of the long haul. And so, we know what we're going to probably need in November to really make the run for the state title. And so we're trying to get some of those seen when there's opportunities to be seen. While it may not be the best look or the best time, we need to get it. We need to get it evaluated, right?
Yeah. Well, it was certainly impressive. And like I said, over the past 3 weeks, it's been really impressive. We're clicking on all cylinders there. All right, let's move to defense. Another shutout. Coach Zach Green's got his guys dialed in, man.
Rolling.
I was talking to him before the show and just listening. I love listening to him talk football.
Yeah, he is a football junkie, to say the least.
Oh, man. So, we actually, before the show, we were talking, getting back to Jacob's days, we were talking, and I said, hey, man, I hated playing against you. And he just looked at me, with that same smile you got. He's just so – he's so detail-oriented.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
His defenses are so disciplined.
That's right.
And they always tackle well.
Yeah, and he'll tell you that there's going to be a lot of times he's not as happy as what people think he is, about it. And so, but one thing he does, though, he loves the goose egg, man. And I thought, it's funny how it is. And the biggest thing about it, and they break it down on Havoc, which he's explained on the show before, and everything else. And there's a mentality to that, what we bought them a long time ago is our defense. When they practice in the black jerseys, and that's an attitude. That's the dark side. That's all the things that encompasses in the way that they play. And earlier in the season, they got those jerseys taken away from them.
Oh,
yeah, they got he went in the lockers and took those jerseys away from them. He gave them the old Adidas stuff and things that they didn't want to be in. Well, last week he finally gave it back to them, and but he was still on it as far as I'll take this stuff up in a heartbeat if you don't play to that level. And so they responded, played great, played in dominating fashion, played as a unit. Our secondary is continuing to get better. Our second and third levels are dominating, to say the least. And so the biggest thing for us is staying healthy and continuing to take steps forward as we're getting there and going through that aspect of it.
Yeah, they certainly looked fast and physical like that. Mm-hmm. I think I said the same thing last week and possibly the week before. So offense and defense showed up. I felt like we could have scored any play in the entire game. We really looked good.
I wish it was that easy.
Defensively, we threw a shutout.
Yeah.
Let's talk special teams.
Yeah.
Carter Platt. So here's our kicker's stats from this week, right? Our kicker, Carter Platt, junior kicker, Carter Platt.
Yep.
He had 2 field goals, a 32-yarder and a 37-yarder, was 5 for 5 on his extra points. Punted for a 41.6-yard average, but here's the most impressive. Had four touchbacks, is that right?
And down to punt inside the 5.
And down to punt inside the 5. He continues to get better each week.
Yeah.
What a tremendous weapon he is.
Well, so today the Mississippi Sports Gridiron, this is kind of the big thing that covers the state of Mississippi, named him as the state kicker of the week in the entire state of Mississippi.
That's great.
Yeah, and so
that's a big award.
Yeah, no, I mean it's a great opportunity for him. I mean he's a great player, super talented kid. The Platts are good to us, man. There's a couple of kickers that are coming through the program. We got one in our 9th grade program as well, Parker, and just a talented guy that handled the kickoff duties, the field goal, and the punt. 2 years ago when he was a 9th grader, Carter could not punt. It was a foreign thing for him, and so but he worked on it over the summer and did all the things, went to a camp, all the stuff, and he comes back and says, "Coach, I think I can punt." And then he booms 150 yards just kind of playing around. He's like, "All right, buddy, well you're going to be the punter now, so here we are." But yeah, no, I mean it's a solid weapon, man. You talk about the stress on a coaching staff and making sure you have guys where they need to be on a kickoff cover unit. Yeah. And in high school, when you can get that thing to the end zone and make an offense start on the 20-yard line, even just besides the 35, is the percentages of them scoring a touchdown on that drive go down exponentially. And so being able to do that, and then obviously the punt and the field goal stuff is worth its weight in gold, man.
Yeah, and I know special teams coach Cameron Tywater always has a good special teams.
Ain't no doubt. He was
game
upset.
plan.
You know, we had a great situation, had a great day, and special teams had some return yards, all that stuff. And he was just so upset that we didn't block a punt. You know, if we got close one time, then St. Martin just brought everybody in and said, y'all ain't punting it, and y'all ain't going to block it. But
we have seven
on
the
the season, yeah. Seven on the season.
That's a sporty.
Yeah, he was upset we didn't add to the total there.
All right, so we touched on all three phases, offense, defense, and special teams. If I had to put you on the spot and talk about the team's identity right now, right? Yeah. We've been through it all. We've had struggle games. We've struggled with teams we should have not struggled with.
Yeah.
But we seem to be on a roll right now, right? Yeah. So has the identity changed a little bit?
I think the identity is what I envisioned it being, right? And when we talked about earlier in the season, before the season started, I went through the pillars. We have 5 pillars in what we talk about. And I think what you're starting to see is the identity coming through is the discipline aspect of play and then the physicality of which we play with.
Yeah.
I mean, I had one of our college coaches that came by and recruit, and they're at the game and stuff. And they came by and stopped me after our game against Ocean Springs and told me, just like, Coach, I just want to tell you, your kids play unbelievably hard. And that's just one of the biggest compliments that a coach can take is to have that being said. And so I think that just all the other aspect of it from us was just the discipline. Is playing, doing your job, doing it right, doing it consistently over and over and over again. And so we've kind of gotten some of those things out of the way and played it. If we had to suffer some losses to get to this point, I didn't want to do it, but I will do it. It's fine. Yeah. But we learn from those things, and I think the discipline, the physicality of which we're playing with right now is at a level that I'd love to see it even go even higher, but I'm really happy with it right now.
Yeah, it is. We've got momentum. We're getting better from week to week. We're on the right track. Okay, so we mentioned ninth grade just a second ago. We have a big announcement, right? Our ninth grade team.
Yeah. Won the coach championship, did it in a pretty dominating fashion. They had the one hiccup early in the season, I think you can admit it. They were smelling themselves a little bit after a pretty big win. Reading on the social medias a little bit too much, and basically turned the game over away. Had like 5 or 6 turnovers in a game and lost by 2. Till they avenged that loss this week on the in Picayune at the little championship deal and won 34-7. Yeah. And so did it pretty convincingly. It's a super talented group. They're talented in a lot of areas. But the one good thing about it is, you're talking about talent and everything, they're really, really coachable.
Yeah.
That's the coolest part,
that's
right?
Important.
And they're great kids. And, we're good in a lot of areas. Well, obviously the wide receivers are getting the most talent. We're really good at quarterback. We have some really good offensive linemen in that group, and then our defense is really good, man. We got 4 or 5 defensive linemen four of them have actually come up to play with us on varsity for the rest of this season. We have several linebackers and some DBs that can play, and then another Platt that's our
another
kicker.
Another
Platt that's our kicker. That puts the ball deep in there, and then we can kick field goals and those types of things. And so it's just a really exciting group and a fun guys. I got a chance this year to be their offensive coordinator. I wanted to have a chance to be around those guys a little more this year than I have been in the past, and getting a chance to know them and all that when they're young has been a cool thing. There's some really cool kids.
Yep. So there you go. A lot of exciting stuff coming. I think our football website on Facebook or on social media even had sunglasses saying how bright the future looks.
Yeah, and it is. It's an exciting time to be doing something right now that's really good currently, and then to know that it's also coming.
Yeah.
And so that's a good part about it.
Yeah, good stuff. Ninth grade wins the championship. Gulfport sitting at 2-0 in the region with another dominant victory this past Friday night. We're in West Harrison tomorrow night. Folks, we're going to take our second break real quick. We will return very quickly. Thank you.
We would like to take this time to remind you that Gulfport football's Big Men in the Trenches are sponsored by Gulfside Periodontics of Gulfport. Speaking of trenches, don't let the trench mouth or any array of gum diseases affect your quality of life. When it comes to strong teams, you know the foundation matters. And when it comes to your smile, Gulfside Periodontics is the MVP. From advanced dental implants and laser gum therapy to expert periodontal care. Their team is trusted by families across the Mississippi Gulf Coast. Located at 423 Security Square, Gulfside Periodontics of Gulfport uses cutting-edge tech to treat gum disease, restore your smile, and keep your oral health in championship form. No pain, no pressure, just precision care. Contact Dr. Thomas Carter and his staff at Gulfside Periodontics today. Visit them at gulfsideperio.com or give them a call at 228-205-4843. Thank you, Gulfside Periodontics of Gulfport, for supporting Gulfport High Admiral football.
I moved to Gulfport High School my 10th grade year. I was at another high school freshman year. 10th grade year I was virtual, so I hadn't stepped foot on the campus at all. The teachers, they didn't really even know who I was, but they were very helpful and accommodating anything. It was a hard time for everyone, so they were very helpful. 11th grade year when I finally moved on campus, it was great. Everyone was very supportive of the things I wanted to do. They have a place for everyone to belong, whatever you want to do in life, and it's really great.
You can keep up with all things related to Gulfport Admiral Athletics by following the Gulfport Athletic Department on Facebook and Instagram. You can also find each individual team pages on major social media platforms for game day posts, schedule announcements, scores, and more.
Welcome back to the Coach's Corner, and we just want to take this time to thank our signature sponsor, Woody's Roadside, for hosting us each week and supporting the Gulfport High Admiral football team. Great environment each week here. Seems like the crowd gets bigger and bigger each week. We got a lot of stuff, a lot of alumni in the house tonight. If you're in the neighborhood, stop by and support your Admirals right here at Woody's Roadside Restaurant. Okay. We are going to get into one of our special guests tonight, head cheerleading coach Kaylee Brown. Coach Brown, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
You are welcome. So this is your first year, right, as the head cheer coach?
Yes.
Okay. First year at Gulfport High as the head cheer coach. How has the experience been so far?
It's been very rewarding. It's been a big learning process for me, but the relationships that I have built and the family that I have created, being that I'm not from here, has been something that I can say I'm proud to be a part of.
Oh, that's awesome. So you say you're not from here. Where are you from?
Decatur, Mississippi.
Decatur, Mississippi. Isn't that where East Central?
Yes.
Okay.
The Warriors.
Yeah. Good
Yes.
baseball team up there.
Yes.
Okay, Decatur, Mississippi. So I also hear that you come from a very strong football family, right?
I do indeed, yes.
Okay, so please tell Admiral Nation about your football family.
So my stepdad is a football coach in Texas.
Okay.
We all know that high school football in Texas is
High school football
high
coaching.
school
Where in
football
Texas?
Grapevine, Texas.
Okay, that's Dallas, right?
Dallas, yes.
Okay, what high school there?
Grapevine High School.
Wow.
So I actually told that he has his show on Monday nights, and so I told him I was coming on this show tonight. But my brother, so I have 3 siblings. My brother he plays at Trinity Valley. He's a quarterback. And then I have another brother who is a 9th grade quarterback at Grapevine. And then I have a sister who plays volleyball.
Wow.
So they are busy, and football is how we roll at the house.
That is really, really cool. You said your
Yes.
brother is a quarterback in college, right?
Trinity Valley Community
Trinity
College.
Valley Community. That's awesome.
Yes, I actually got to go watch him play last Saturday, so it was
That's good
it was
stuff.
good.
So Kaylee, Coach Kaylee Brown. Do you go by Coach Kaylee or Coach Brown?
Coach Brown.
Coach Brown. So Coach Brown, coming from a background like that, your dad's a football coach, all your brothers are athletes and football players. How does that shape your approach and what you do every day?
It honestly probably has the most to do with how I run things. I grew up knowing that in order to have a successful program that you have to build relationships.
Absolutely.
And relationships are the most
Awesome.
important thing. And so that's kind of what me and my staff have really focused in on this year, being the first year for all of us, and it being completely new because now we don't have a separate 9th grade team that's also part of varsity as well. And so we really have focused on building relationships, and that I think 100% stems from me being a coach's kid, because growing up I've realized how important and how vital that is in success.
Awesome. So you say you're from Decatur. So was your dad a coach obviously your dad was a coach in Mississippi at one time.
Yes, so he was at Newton County, which is where I graduated high school. But then my sophomore year of high school, we moved to Oak Grove.
Okay.
He went to be the quarterbacks coach at Oak Grove, and then he went back to Newton High School, which is a 2A in Mississippi, and that was his first head coaching job. And then I graduated high school, and then they moved to Texas.
Okay.
So they've been there since.
And Grapevine's a good place to live.
Yeah, no, they're great. They're awesome people for sure.
So, Coach Brown, what would your vision be in building the cheer program at Gulfport, both on the sidelines and in our community?
So we have really focused on this year kind of starting from the basics. We wanted to pretty much start from the ground up and redo as much of the basics as possible, and that starts with including our elementary schools. Cheer typically starts around middle school in the Gulfport School District, and we really want to get the elementary school more involved. Having more camps for people to be able to attend, and making more opportunities available for the community to be involved and to kind of make a name for ourselves within the community. But on the other hand, our girls do know that they play a role in that as well. To be respected in the community, they have to give respect and they have to get out and be involved. So that's kind of what we are really focusing on first year here as a new program, is kind of cleaning up the basics.
Yeah, and that's certainly noticeable. You've brought a lot of energy and a lot of entertainment to our cheer team this year. It's been quite impressive.
Well, they are very entertaining themselves.
Yeah, I bet.
They never they're never boring for sure.
Yeah. Well, the atmosphere on Friday nights has been incredible, like I said. How do you prepare your team to be such a big part of that energy and momentum that we're talking about?
So we practice 5 days a week, and
Wow.
we do practice 2 days a week at 5:30 in the morning. So I'll give a shout
Two
out.
of those 5 days is at 5:30 in the
Yes.
morning?
And I'll
Y'all
give
are
a
working
shout
harder than the
out.
football team.
I know. I'll give a shout out to the girls because they're there and they're ready to roll and they have a positive attitude. And it's kind of discipline is a big factor that we've been trying to really push as far as creating an environment that people want to be around and be involved in. Our football team is doing amazing, and that also plays a huge role in the energy and enthusiasm on the sideline as well. But we took a class this summer, one of our captains, to explain football to us, because I have 28 amazing girls, but please know that football knowledge was not the best. So it really helped to teach them, honestly, the game of football in order to be able to know when to cheer, when not to cheer, which is crazy to say, the difference between defense and offense. But they work really hard, and I'm very proud of their commitment and their will to want to be there and want to give the crowd energy. And I really don't have to say much. They kind of take it and run with it, and they're doing a great job, and I'm very proud of them. And they definitely are part of the reason that we have a lot of energy on Friday nights, and I'll give that credit to them.
So you're in your first year at Gulfport High. What's been the most rewarding aspect so far up to this point?
Honestly, the relationships that I have built with the girls and their families.
That's awesome.
Like I said, coming from a coach's family, I've grown up in this life, and this is all I know. And I've always heard relationships. But now that I'm in it and I'm part of something like that, it is very important. And if you have their trust and they trust you and you trust them, then you can be very successful in the end. So honestly, the relationships that I have built with them has probably been the most rewarding thing.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, Coach Brown, thank you so much for coming on for this segment.
Thank you for having me.
I know that Admiral Nation loved hearing everything about you and your family, and you are a tremendous asset to this whole program, and we just wanted to kind of highlight you here on the show. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
And y'all stay tuned. We will be back this next segment with another special guest, and you'll want to see this one. Thank you, Admiral Nation. We'll be right back.
Are you ready to relax, recover, and feel rejuvenated? Well, we'd like to remind you to take a time out with Revive and Thrive, located at 1073 Acadian Drive, right here in Gulfport. Come enjoy their saunas, cold plunges, contrast therapy, and rejuvenating salt room, or even shut out the world in their sensory deprivation float suite. With state-of-the-art equipment and over a decade of combined experience in the field, these Gulfport High alums are ready to tailor their services to empower you to thrive. So, whether you're getting ready for your next big event or just wanting to feel rejuvenated in your daily life, contact Revive and Thrive to book an appointment or ask about membership options today. Thank you, Revive and Thrive, for supporting Gulfport High Admiral football.
In this changing world, you need to set a course for your future, preparing to navigate life. Ranked one of the top districts in Mississippi, Gulfport School District provides a superior educational experience, anchored in academic excellence, athletics, and cultural activities. Great things are happening here for everyone. Where it all comes together, you can find your place and build your legacy. So come aboard. Your future success will flourish at Gulfport School District.
There's great things happening every day at Gulfport High School, and you can see them on our school's Facebook page, Gulfport High School Academic Institutes at Gulfport, where you'll find student accomplishments, club activities, and our weekly newsletter, The Admiral Anchor. Keep up with what's going on in clubs, organizations, academic classes, and the AIG. You can find the newsletter on the Gulfport High School webpage. Just go to our school tab and click on Admiral Anchor. It's another way to keep up with all the things happening at Gulfport High.
Welcome back to the Coach's Corner. And just a reminder, Admiral Nation, our Admirals are on the road tomorrow night, right? But it's not really the road. We're still playing in Gulfport. No excuse not to come to the game. Just right down the road on West Harrison's campus. Big game. Your Admirals are 2-0 in the region. We need your support. Another big regional game. Okay, our second special guest of the night is obviously the principal of Anniston, as everybody knows her, but I like to refer to her as the First Lady of Admiral Football, Miss Brooke Pennick. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so
Coach
much.
Coach Pennick, how are you?
I appreciate it. I'm great. How are you?
Awesome.
Good.
All right, so Brooke, as both an administrator and a coach's wife, you have to wear many hats. Can you take Admiral Nation, just kind of in the Pennick household, to let us know how many hats you have to juggle and what it's like?
I really don't know how I handle it. Blake is phenomenal. I couldn't do it without him. And then we have an amazing staff at Anniston that help me day in and day out. And then just family support without them. And then Gulfport just makes it easy for us. We are truly blessed to be here, and I wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
Good. So everything's good in the Anniston world over there?
Absolutely, yes.
Awesome. So I grew up on Farrell Circle, which is the street over from Anniston
I know
Avenue.
exactly where that is.
So I'm very fond of that place, that community, College Park for life, right?
Yes. I mean, we live a minute from the school, which makes it amazing for Carter Ann to grow up there. I couldn't ask for a better school for her.
That's awesome. So you've been around football your whole life? Mm-hmm. What's it like now watching Coach Pennick Blake on the sideline leading this big 7A football program in the state of Mississippi?
So when we moved to the coast, we had no idea that we would move this fast. We moved here and started at Pass Christian and with no family here. And they quickly became our family. And having a football family has been the best thing that we could ask for. Seeing him do what he loves day in and day out, I couldn't ask for it.
Yeah.
It's truly amazing. He is a phenomenal leader. I lean on him as a leader also for any support, and I just wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, he is a good leader, but now hold on. You're the principal of Anniston Elementary. You have to show a lot of leadership skills yourself.
Yes,
so
I do.
I'm sure that I would love to be inside that household to see, who has the strongest opinion.
He does. I will admit that. But I try to leave work at work, but I lean on him a lot just to bounce ideas off of him.
Sure.
When I have anything arise and I'm like, hey, Blake, all right, here's my issue. What do you think? And he's like, do this. I'm like, oh, I like that.
That's really cool.
Just having him there is awesome.
Yep. So we'll stay on the principal theme. From a principal's perspective, how do athletics and academics work together to build a strong school and community culture?
I truly believe that to be a well-rounded individual, you've got to have those extracurricular activities, whether it's athletics, it's the arts, or whatnot. You've got to be able to deal with adversity. And these sports, they teach you how to deal with that day in and day out. Our players have dealt with that all season long. And that's what's going to make them well-rounded individuals when they get out.
Sure.
And so I told them Blake was a multi-sport athlete. I was a dancer. So do it.
Yeah.
It's going to take time. It's hard work, but that's what's going to make you successful in the real world.
That's a really good perspective, too, there. You know, I mean, being a wife of a head football coach, or any coach for that matter, those kids, those football players kind of become your own.
They are absolutely my own. I'm Mama Brooke to them.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love them so much.
Awesome. So what's the hardest part about being a coach's wife?
Hardest part is all the outside looking in. You know, there are so many people that can sit behind a keyboard and they can type away and tell you how to do your job. But it's also seeing him work so hard is the most rewarding thing with that.
Yeah.
Because he puts his heart and soul into it. And I don't say that just because he's my husband.
Right.
The results prove for themselves. But the hardest part is seeing the letdowns, the negativity, when I know how hard he's worked.
Right. So on the flip side, what's the most rewarding part?
Probably the relationship I have with our players.
That's good. That's great.
Like I said, they call me Mama Brooke. That started at Pass Christian, and it moved along the coast with us. And then, so one thing I do for them is it's only on Wednesdays. I got this from Larry Fedora's wife. On Wednesdays, they get cookies on Wednesday. But it's only for 3 to 4 players that have worked hard. They don't have to score the most points, have the most tackles, because that would go to the same people every week.
So you do this every week?
Yeah.
Wow.
So on Tuesday nights, I bake cookies.
What kind?
Chocolate chip.
Okay. A chocolate chip each week?
Each week.
Okay.
Same thing.
And you just bring them to the locker room on Wednesdays?
No. So after practice, it's around 4:45, 5. I go out when he does his huddle.
Let me put this in my calendar.
Yeah. Come on. Anytime. So then I have their cookies. I have them a little gift bag. We had 4 players this week that got them. They all get little notes from me. It's just something I truly enjoy doing because I know that relationship is key.
Yeah.
We still talk to our players from Ocean Springs and from Pastor Sheehan, and I want to keep that with these boys.
Sure.
After wins and losses, them coming to give me a hug after the game. But
and it really says a lot about you, Brooke, in that I asked Coach Pennick's wife, right, our head coach, what the most rewarding part of being a head coach's wife is, and it wasn't wins. Her first answer right off the bat was relationships.
Absolutely.
Good stuff. So I know you always talk about family first, even in the middle of the football season.
Yep.
How special is it to have a partner who understands this life and supports it so strongly?
I couldn't do it without him.
Yeah.
You know, we've talked before, and if it wasn't for him, and a lot of people say this, I wouldn't be where I am today in my career. But he also wouldn't be where he is in his career either. I'm just going to throw that out there. We support each other through it all, even the good and the bad. And I couldn't ask for a better partner in it.
Fantastic. Well, Miss Pennick, thank you so much for joining us on your husband's show.
I appreciate it.
We really appreciate it. And you can see, Admiral Nation, that what a great quality family, great quality person Brooke is, and most importantly, what a good environment Anniston Elementary is with her in the lead. So we're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, we'll bring Coach Blake Pennick back on the show, and we will start talking about tomorrow night's opponent, West Harrison. Thank you, Admiral Nation. Y'all stay with us.
Tonight's Coach's Corner is also being brought to you in part by Savvy Sliders, located on Highway 49 in Gulfport. Come experience hand-breaded, hand-grabbed, and handcrafted greatness to fuel you up for the big game. Satisfy your savvy taste with their wide range of sliders and other great treats. And these aren't your average sliders. They're more than a bite. They're bold, juicy, and built to actually fill you up. So, if you want to be the star of the pre-game party, bring Savvy Sliders to the tailgate. Savvy Sliders. Eat savvy and be savvy. Hey, Admiral Nation. Your football team and coaching staff wants to take this opportunity to say thank you for all of the support and encouragement shown so far this year. The team's hard work is certainly paying off. The Admirals are sitting in first place in Region 4 and looking forward to the remaining opponents on the schedule. Admiral Nation, let's continue to show out for the Admiral football team. Let's make sure to have a lot of fun and make lots of noise at the remaining games. Don't forget the Admirals have only 2 home games remaining before the playoffs begin. And those 2 games involve big-time rivals in Biloxi and Harrison Central. We will host the Indians on October 24th and the Red Rebels on November 6th right here at Milner Stadium to close out the regular season. Admiral Nation, we need your continued support to finish the season strong and begin our playoff run. So, on behalf of the Admiral football team and coaching staff, thank you, Admiral Nation, and anchor down.
You can keep up with all things related to Gulfport Admiral Athletics by following the Gulfport Athletic Department on Facebook and Instagram. You can also find each individual team pages on major social media platforms for game day posts, schedule announcements, scores, and more.
Coach, next up, West Harrison, a 6-1 team, playing really sound football. What stands out about them on film?
Man, obviously it's explosive plays on offense. They have 2 good running backs that anytime they get a crease, they're gone. You know, one of the things, it's kind of a method to the madness on the offense, right? They run the wing tee, and I mean it's the trio.
The wing tee.
Yeah, man, it sucks to prepare for, no doubt, but it's true to form, man. It's power, counter, buck, trap, all the stuff, and so you just have to do a great job of playing your lanes, reading your guards, tackling well, playing with great leverage, getting the line and a sign, that kind of thing. And so, you know, most of and Coach Green he'll talk about it a lot on that stuff. Is like most of my coaching is done during the week.
Yeah.
On Friday, there ain't much else to do outside of kind of making adjustments to basically what it is they're trying to run. But you know, the main thing about that is just they're playing hard. Now, this year is different from most years for them, is where they are really athletic on defense. They have a defensive line. They all 4 across. They all look like twins, you know, and they're identical. And they do a great job in the back 7 and all that stuff to just continue to make plays, you know, and they've had some success this season. They're 6-1. They had a tough loss against D'Iberville on the road, where their best player, the running back 45, Jordan Stapleton, didn't play really in the game, didn't impact the game, went out with an injury, and so he'll be back against us. He's been out the last couple of weeks. And so I'm sure he'll be chomping at the bit, ready to rock and roll. And so it's a test for sure, because it's something you just don't see all the time.
Yeah.
And so your defense has to get ready to play at a high level and execute something they don't see.
Right, and we mentioned, so they run the wing tee on offense, right?
Yeah.
Which is a very atypical offense for nowadays, right?
The true wing tee. Yeah.
So talk to me about Coach Green's. How did we practice all week? Surely our practice had to change up a little bit, because we're not facing a spread team.
Yeah, it does, and we're blessed in our school schedule to have the ability to have several walkthrough times as well, and so making sure that your eyes are in the right place, and we talk about that discipline, right? I think is coming across. If you run your butt upfield, you're going to get trapped as a defensive lineman, and so you better do a great job of being disciplined when those guards start pulling and things, and you got to do a great job on the edge. You have some guys that are going to end up not making a ton of stats in the game, but they're going to be the MVPs of the game because of their specific role they have to do to try and stop that offense. And so we have some guys who are going to have to play some selfless football, and they're going to have to do a great job and do it over and over again. And so, you know, practice for us is just making sure that we get a line to it and just rep the cards so they just see it all the time. They just over and over and over again, so you become robotic in what you see.
Yeah. A lot of misdirection.
Yes, absolutely. And that's the thing about it, and that's where discipline comes into the factor. If you pay attention to all that, you're going to be a step slow and a step behind. And that's why they do it. So you have to find the wins and the whys and how what it is you're trying to do to make sure you don't get caught up in all that.
Yep. And you touched on how athletic they are a minute ago. Mm-hmm. Man, they are.
They're putting up a ton of points.
They're making noise over there. They're winning games this year. They're sound. They're coached well.
Yep.
Defensively, are they the same type team? Are they as athletic as they are offensively?
Yes, yeah. I mean, I think that's been the in the past they've given up a ton of points.
Yeah.
Meaning, like in previous years, they've given up a lot of points, and so they don't do a whole lot on defense. They kind of just line up and you get what you see, and and this year I think they're more athletic. Their defensive line is what makes them go. They have Jazeer Carter there. That's a player that can really, really go. And so we have to make sure we account for him on the defensive front. Several guys in the back end at linebacker and in secondary that's kind of making them tick a little bit different. It's one of the reasons why they're 6-1 on the season. And so guys that we have to make sure that we're aware of and be disciplined in our pass game, be able to challenge to play physical in our offensive line, to be able to get the running game going. They're obviously going to probably try to take that away and try to put the game in the quarterback's hands. And so how we handle that is going to be the telltale in the game.
Yeah, and you mentioned the West Harrison has been in close games and won them, right? That's a big deal.
That's right.
Has that message been kind of portrayed to your team this week in the locker room or on the field?
Yeah, I think for us, obviously we're battle tested. We've played some really good football teams, and we've been in some close games. We've been in some battles, and so they have too, right? Yep. They've played a little bit different of a schedule, but I still think that they are prepared. They gone on the road and played D'Iberville, right? We played a similar Laurel team, which they had a ton of success against. So you have some comparisons there at that point in time to try to get a matchup. They've also played St. Martin. They played St. Martin kind of in a tough, last play of the game type of game. And so, but you really can't take from that what our result was. And so you have to be able to be disciplined and be ready to go.
Right. And we've talked about us, right? The past 3 weeks.
Yeah.
We're clicking. We've got the horsepower. We're clicking on all cylinders and all phases. How important, we all know it's important.
Yeah.
What's your message to try and maintain that to your team?
It's just not forget how the bread is buttered, right? And we've talked all season about we just saw Brooke up here, talking about it, and I use her as an analogy to our team. Is Brooke wants a really nice flower bed, right? And she'll water the plants and do all the things. Once it starts growing, guess what she starts doing? She stops watering the plants, and then they die, and then she has to start watering them again. And good thing she's not paying attention to me when she's talking. But the thing about it is then she starts watering them again. Well, don't do the things for our players. I use that analogy because don't do the things that are stop doing those things that are making you successful, right? And the things that have made us successful is having intentional walkthroughs, having great meetings, taking those meetings to our individual, using our individual to go to the team, and focusing on the consistent aspects of the game that make us good. And so once we start doing that, well, don't stop doing that just because you now achieve some things. You got to continue to do that because the goal of us is if we're here, if this is where our ceiling is, we want to try to get to that point in November.
Yeah,
that's where we're trying to go, and we're not there yet. So each and every day is an opportunity to do that. So you have to kind of look at it from a macro view, and rather than not just from week to week.
Yep. And I love how you touched on how important the process is, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's just about maintaining consistency and sticking to a continued process.
Yeah.
That will lead to progress.
It's been such a popular term here lately, with Nick Saban kind of championing that part of it. So you try to be able to find a way to deliver that message in a different manner.
Yeah.
And so I think our guys have the maturity to see that big deal. And I told them all one time, I say, I like to joke and I like to cut up, and I'd love to cut a cartwheel and do all those things with you. I said, but you know what the one difference is between me and you? I can walk out on that field in 10 seconds and flip the switch.
Yeah.
And I think they've done a really good job of that over the last couple of weeks is, hey, let's have fun. Let's enjoy football. It's a game, all that kind of thing. But when it's time to work, lock in. It's time to work.
Yeah. Okay, so West Harrison tomorrow night in West Harrison. Admiral Nation, they are a 6-1 football team. They are very athletic, and they run a very unorthodox offense. We need your support. Get out there. Get in the seats. Our Admirals are 2-0, number 1 in Region 4 right now, tomorrow night at West Harrison, 7 o'clock. Okay, we're going to go to our last break. We'll come back with Coach Pennick's closing comments before the game tomorrow night. Y'all stay tuned.
Hey, Coach's Corner viewers. We'd like to give you a quick shout out to Exceed Physical Therapy, now serving in locations across Mississippi. Whether you're rehabbing from game day injuries, bouncing back from surgery, or just looking to boost strength, mobility, or balance, Exceed has got your back. And every other joint too. From vertigo and spinal rehab to sports-specific training, pelvic health, manual therapy, dry needling, and even TRX suspension training, they deliver more than expected. Their expert therapists craft a personalized recovery plan that gets you back in the game faster, stronger, and smarter. With 2 locations right here in Gulfport, one in Biloxi and one in Long Beach, Exceed's team of movement specialists is ready to help the Mississippi Gulf Coast exceed their recovery goals. So don't just recover, exceed. Visit exceedtherapy.com and find your nearest clinic. That's exceedtherapy.com. Get back in the game, keep competing, and let Exceed help you bounce back better than ever. Thank you, Exceed Physical Therapy, for supporting the Gulfport High Admiral football team.
I moved to Gulfport High School my 10th grade year. I was at another high school freshman year. 10th grade year I was virtual, so I hadn't stepped foot on the campus at all. The teachers, they didn't really even know who I was, but they were very helpful in accommodating anything. It was a hard time for everyone, so they were very helpful. 11th grade year when I finally moved on campus, it was great. Everyone was very supportive of the things I wanted to do. They have a place for everyone to belong, whatever you want to do in life, and it's really great.
You can follow WGTV Broadcasting on Facebook for links to live stream events and episodes of Admiral Ocean, the school's weekly news program. This is our 7th season and is shaping up to be the best season we've had yet. Coming up on this week's show, we have a recap of the first intersession of the school year. We catch up on what band and theater are currently up to, and we also have a look at how AI is impacting the classroom. And as always, we have the news headlines and an update on Admiral Sports. That's all coming up on episode 6 of Admiral Ocean Season 7. Catch our episodes as soon as they drop Friday mornings on Facebook and our YouTube channel.
Welcome back, Admiral Nation. We just wanted to thank Woody's Roadside one last time for being our signature sponsor and really just supporting the Admiral football program so well. Such a great atmosphere that Doug and his staff provides in here each
look
week.
At this crowd. Wow.
It's probably our best crowd of the year. We've got tons of games going on. A lot of alumni, a lot of coaches in here, a lot of teachers. Great atmosphere. Please come by if you haven't yet. We really appreciate Woody's support. All right, Coach. What's your final message to Admiral Nation and to your team before we step out?
Man, just to keep going 1-0. That's the biggest thing. Is this whole thing is a process, and so we talked about that a little in the last segment on that part of it. But supporting this team, keep riding the momentum. The players feed off of it. You know, it needs to be a great atmosphere on our side. You know, tomorrow night we're going in. Obviously, there's a lot of back and forth. A lot of these kids know each other. That whole thing. We need to go over there and take over that stadium. And so we need our band there. They're going to be rocking and rolling. Our cheerleaders, Kaylee, and those guys will be over there. Those ladies will be over there, ready to rock and roll too as well. We need a phenomenal crowd to create an awesome atmosphere and try to take that stadium over and play well. And that's going to be the biggest thing. And being able to execute over and over again and chasing a standard of play of what Gulfport football and what we expect, what the community expects from our team, from our players and our coaches. And so continue to do that, man, and just keep riding the wave of momentum.
Good stuff.
Yep.
Well, thank you, Coach. We appreciate it. Good luck to you tomorrow night in the Admirals.
Yes, sir.
And Admiral Nation, tomorrow night in West Harrison, a regional game, a big game. We need your support. Hey, thank y'all for tuning in, and please join us next Thursday night right here, or is it Wednesday night next week?
Wednesday night, yeah, next Wednesday night.
Next Wednesday night due to homecoming festivities.
Yeah, because we have the parade on Thursday downtown, so make sure you're there for that. We have Biloxi for our homecoming, which will be an exciting game, and so we'll be here on next Wednesday, same time and all that, ready to rock and roll.
Next Wednesday night right here at Admiral Nation. Thank you. Have a great week. See y'all tomorrow night.
At this time, we'd like to thank all of the support provided for the Coach's Corner each week. Again, thank you to our signature sponsor, Woody's Roadside, for hosting us each week. And our other sponsors, Harborview Oral and Facial Surgery Center, Gulfside Periodontics of Gulfport, Revive and Thrive, Savvy Sliders, and Exceed Physical Therapy. Thank you guys for supporting Gulfport High Admiral football.